Fly with me, let's fly.
Nope, and no more.
That's all you get.
Sorry, that's all you get on Twitch. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. It's Friday. That means it's time for another Paint and Slay with me, V, and Lauren right above. And I'm actually especially excited about the next few episodes we have coming up because we're working with a really fun champion, and we get to make something for the person who created the champion.
I am also very excited, but for obvious reasons.
Yes. So today we're going to be doing something called Kit Bash, which is basically where you take various elements of different miniatures and smoosh them together, but safely.
Yes, we will be taking our time with sharp objects.
Yes. We're actually going to be tapping into using some tools that you don't see us use all that often. And actually, WizKids sent along the fantastic Prismatic Paint Plastic Model Prep Toolkit, which have some lovely sprue cutters, a penknife, as well as a emery board file type of situation. So you're going to want to make sure you have something along these lines to work with. In the past, you have seen us use a penknife. You've also seen me use jewelry tools, pliers, because those are they're super handy. The tips come in handy for holding the minis in place. There is a cutter here that works for snipping smaller bits of sprue if you wanted to. But because of the nature of the game of what we're doing here, you're going to see us using different tools. You'll also notice I have here on the bottom a mat for cutting for safety purposes. So that's why we have this lovely grid thing going on today. But before we get into the thick of things and my explaining it in more detail as to what we're going to be doing, Lauren, what do we have going on with the game this week?
It's like every Friday we have so much. So many things. Should we start with you know what? Put up whatever is next on the thing because I don't know what order
let's
anything
just do that.
There we go. Season 3 is still going on, Ancients and Lawbringers. We're still pretty early in the event, so if you are new to the game, there is still plenty of time to get on in and start working on all of those events and getting yourself some really awesome gear. So definitely check those out. In fact, since it's now after noon Pacific, there should be some new dailies that are up for you to do. So check that out. There should also be a weekend buff that is happening this weekend to help you if you're on the road to taking care of that, especially since Human is in with our dazzling weekend and the dazzling gold chest that you will get if you are signed up for our newsletter. Because hi cat, hi kitty, that's just going to be today. It's just going to happen all day today. So yes, if you are signed up for our newsletter, you will sometime in the next couple of hours be getting one newsletter with a free gold dazzling chest. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, absolutely do that. You will get a code for Hitch right away in the game. And then once a week, we will send you a newsletter with the free stuff and just talking about the weekends. We are very, very careful about not sending lots of newsletters. But yes, if you need help with taking care of any of that stuff, and not just for season 3, but it's a free Time Gate weekend this weekend. We actually have 2 of them in a row.
I think it's cool.
It's super cool, and it happens every once in a while because the Faerun calendar and the American, real world calendar don't always line up.
Imagine that.
Once in a while.
A fantasy calendar not lining up with a reality calendar?
Right? And so every once in a while you get a little extra free Time Gate weekend, which is great for those of you who are new, who are looking to catch up on getting the season 3 champions, because you'll have a good chance to be able to get all of those pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then we
there's
had the announcement about, oh, yes.
that.
So Wednesday, the Red Wizard Emergence event started. That is going on until this coming Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, go destroy lots of red wizards. If you've seen the D&D movie, you know why red wizards are
But no
suddenly a thing.
spoilers.
I mean,
Don't
no,
spoiler in the chat.
yeah, no
Please.
spoilers in chat. I am going to be very careful about not saying anything that isn't already obviously out there. And in fact, I probably will even avoid that because there's a lot of people like my wonderful partner who try to avoid all of the pre-roll stuff that happens before a movie. But I think everyone knows Red Wizards play a part in the movie, and thus it is the Red Wizard event. The good thing about our emergence event is that you really don't have to do anything too special to participate. Just play a bunch of free plays. Yeah, there were a whole bunch of extra adventure variants that came out on Wednesday that will give you some of those corrupted gems to help with getting some of the fun stuff that you can get out of the Thayan Enclave. And then also, as you're playing, if you're playing in a free play, Red Wizards will just show up and give you corrupted gems when you destroy them because they're Red Wizards, and you absolutely should. And then Monday,
yay!
Familiar Quest is back.
Yes.
So ICP5 ended on Monday, which was an amazing ending. If you haven't seen it, that episode is up on YouTube. But fortunately, the fun of D&D on our Monday evenings continues. Now, this will go back to our semi-normal 5 p.m. Pacific live streams because that's when Familiar Quest normally is. But same with what we were doing for Idle Champions Presents. We will be getting those episodes up on YouTube very quickly for those of you who are in time zones that make 5 p.m. Pacific a little more difficult. But look at this cast!
Isn't that awesome?
Look at
it's
this
a fantastic cast, and they're so excited to get started. Y'all, I have been laughing so hard this week with some of their antics already. I can't wait for you to see what they're going to do when the show goes live. So jump in and enjoy. There'll also be some fun new DLC launching on Monday because of all these fantastic new forms of the familiars that you're going to be seeing, as you see already right here. So that's definitely going to be fun to check out. And Eugenio is going to be our DM extraordinaire for...
And he is absolutely wonderful. If you have not seen Eugenio DM, you are absolutely in for a treat.
Yes.
He's amazing.
Yes.
And so, and all these folks are amazing players and they all know each other. And it's going to be one of those ridiculously fun times. And as you watch Series 3, there might be some other surprises coming up.
Yeah. You know. Things and stuff. Just saying.
Stuff and things.
Things and stuff. That's all. No big deal. We're done. Bye. Anyways.
And done.
And done.
So the only other thing I will say briefly before we get into the kit bashing and cutting is we have the fabulous Gabe in chat with us today as our moderator. If you do have any questions about Idle Champions, about anything we just talked about Orkira, I'm kind of an expert on Orkira. I might have an answer for you if you do. But go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters so that Gabe can grab it, so that when we spend a very long time being very careful about cutting things, I don't miss your question from the because there will be times it's just going to happen where I'm going to be like, I can't look up at the moment because I like my fingers.
Exactly. And just to give you context, when we say this is a kit bash, it's not, kit bash doesn't mean that everything's coming in one kit. That's not how this works. Kit bash means you take various elements from different things and pull it together, which is why you see here, I'm actually going to be working with a couple different minis. We're going to be taking the blue dragon wyrmling from the one kit and pulling out the dragonborn cleric from the other kit, the one that doesn't have like a frill around its chin, and
the one that does have a tail.
One that does have a tail, keep that one in mind. And we're gonna morph these two together to create an Orkira, and we're gonna have fun. And we're also doing a really cool spin on this because if you look over here, you see Orkira's lovely champion portrait, but then there's other art next to it. So Luke was wonderful as always and did some new art for Lauren for Orkira. And I'm going to be riffing off of that art just because it'll be helpful in terms of things like you see there's this funky scarf. So we're going to recreate the scarf using some tissue and super glue and things like that. So yeah, we're going to have fun kind of piecing Orkira together today, and fingers crossed we can get some primer onto it because once you start kit bashing, yes, this is already primed ahead of time, and I forgot let me close my curtain. I forgot the season's shifting on me, and I'm getting backglare.
That's okay. While you do that, I'll explain. So one of the reasons that Luke was very nice about drawing a new version of Orkira is because I have been lucky to be playing an Adventurer's Guide to the Multiverse, which is on Dungeon Scrawlers every other Wednesday with Trevor, as those of you might know, as our DM, and it's been lots of fun. And if you've been playing along with what Orkira has been up to for the last couple of years, this is the most recent version of her, and her look has changed a little bit. She's, she's slimmed up, she's loosened up a little bit. She doesn't want to be in the armor anymore, and so this is kind of her new look.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of fun that we'll be riffing off of that one, and little elements like the fact there's that lovely, fluffy, big scarf around Orkira's neck will help with the fact that we're going to be taking the wings from one creature and sticking it onto the shoulders of another creature, because that means that scarf will act as a means to kind of further reinforce the attachment. Because as much as I would like to, yes, there is I'm going to say this right now. Yes, there's a technique called pinning. However, what we would need to work with is too small to actually get pins in there effectively. So pinning would not be an option for this. So when I was constructing this, I wanted to make sure we had something to act as further reinforcement. So when I saw this art, I'm like, yeah, that'll do the trick. But yeah, you're going to want to make sure you have the Blue Dragon Wyrmling set from WizKids, as well as the Dragonborn Cleric set. And all this means now is you get a really cool Dragonborn Cleric you can paint down the line. And then you also have a treasure pile, which we could also, if we wanted to, we could paint a treasure pile for Orkira if we wanted to, if we have the time. So
she's not really a hoarder, but
that's just
fun. I mean, she's got the handy haversack. That's basically her entire life is in there. So, but yeah.
So
maybe she's got a hidden treasure pile somewhere. I don't know.
Exactly. So here I just kind of collected everything into my little white bin, and I already was playing around a little bit. So when it comes to removing the wings for the dragon wyrmling, because that's really all we need from this wyrmling, is because this is probably the best 2 scale that we had for the Orkira mini. If you take a look there, you can see it's comparable-ish to what we'd want for scale. If you can't find the Blue Dragon Wyrmling, you can just keep an eye out for other miniatures that have wings, and kind of just keep an idea of how big those wings are going to get type of situation. But as you can see, I was taking notes like I do ahead of time, and I was like, well, let me see if these are, because sometimes they're just kind of popped in the wings, some of these creatures, or sometimes they're part of the mold. Yeah. And so I pushed against the one wing and it popped right off.
Oh, okay.
Which wasn't intentional, but it was a happy accident because it basically popped the one wing off. So I don't know if you'll be able to do the same thing.
Let's see.
But literally it was on like this, and I pushed my thumb and it just went boop. So see if you are able to do that.
I see one of them. It hasn't popped off, but I now see a very clear seam on it. But
yeah,
I'm at the point where I'm worried about
if it doesn't do that.
More.
Okay, yeah. So if it doesn't do that, then don't worry. So what you'll want to do is take out either a penknife or your cutters, and you have a couple options here. And I'm popping these out of their case right now. So pardon the noise.
Well, while you are popping, I'll take a very quick look. Plum Bob has a question. Where are these minis and possibly painting kits obtained? I've never been sure about that. Best place to look is your friendly local game store. These are pretty much all WizKids products that we've been using. And most will, if they don't have a lot of the stuff on hand, can order it for you. You can also take a look, especially for the minis, at dndmini.com. And I think we've got a new code.
Well, it's still March, so we should have the March code, which is March Save and Slay, I want to say. Mars.
Grabbing it real quick. I've got it pinned in a place. Yes, Slay and Save March.
There we go.
So if you do go to dndmini.com and do any orders there, using that code will get you 10% off.
There you go.
Also, for some of the more, I don't want to say generic stuff, but like, you don't necessarily have to get the actual WizKids brand if you can't find it. Like V was talking about, these are just jewelry cutters. A lot of these are just in like hardware stores and things. So, but definitely check with your friendly local game store first, because they will be, especially for the minis, the best bet. to help. And these are both minis that are, I almost said live and available now, but they're not, they are
They're
available. They're not
more
hard
readily
to get.
available. Yes, they're
Yeah.
more readily available in stores and online should you need.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically, if you don't have the ability to pop off that wing like I just did, you can go in. I'm going to mimic. You can go in with these style nippers and just sort of gradually work your way across and eventually just trim it off, doing that type of motion at the base of the wing. If you don't have this type of thing, what you can also do is take a penknife, and this is sharp. So if you're going to do something like this, when you're working with your penknife and you're working with minis, slow and steady wins the non-emergency room trips. Okay, you don't want to go to the emergency room. So I'm actually going to lower my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. And what I'm going to do is, I come from a restaurant background. Always chop your vegetables and fruits with your fingernails curled in and holding something securely like this. Don't put your fingers out like that. So curl it in. It kind of makes your fingernails act as sort of a guard. And then what I'll do, let's see if I can get this a little bit lower. There's going to be camera shifting around because I want to make sure safety is being addressed. Yep. I'm going to take this penknife, and you can also just start to slowly score into the mini to start pulling it away. But what you don't want to do is use force, okay? You want to make these gradual little slash lines into the mini. All right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the cutters for me. It didn't give an incredibly clean cut, but I felt like it was...
Trying to get the camera there. You can see right there. You can see I've started to score like that. So you can do that approach if you wanted to. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that helped with the one wing because there was like yours, there was one that just kind of easily came off, and so I just used it to just clip a little bit more, but the other one I had to go in and use the clippers. And here we go. Now we have a blue dragon wyrmling that's just, it's wingless.
It's already starting to disengage on the one side. I scored on one side and then went back and I scored on the other, and that is doing the trick. So you see I did very shallow, controlled strokes with a penknife. That is the key point. You don't go in there and push down and try and cut it through. It's not a saw, okay? Please do not try and do a sawing action. You want to do gliding motions, okay? Yeah. That is a very important safety tip because I don't want people hurting themselves.
Nope. Go slow. There is no hurry with any of this.
Yep. And then I'm just going to raise the camera up again, and I'm actually going to go in with my little cutters now at this point.
Meanwhile, I will answer. The Lurking Writer has a question. Liking the new artwork for Orkira on the overlay. I will let Luke know. I don't know if Luke is in chat, but I will let him know later. Is that from Adventurer's Guide to the Multiverse? Speaking of which, I'm catching up on the VOD and loving it so far. Huge shout out to Trevor Lauren and the Dungeon Scrawlers crew. Oh, glad that you are enjoying it. And yes, when it's a 6-episode series that we're doing, every other week, we're trading off with another show that they're doing on Dungeon Scrawlers. And yeah, it's kind of, it's a little more ridiculous than some of the other adventures Orkira's been on, but it was one of those where it gave us a chance to update her look to what she is kind of now.
Awesome.
No. But yes, that's artwork from Luke McKay, the full body over there. All right, I have the wings.
Okay, so we have freed the wings. And if anything, now you can kind of have some fun and turn this into a new creature. This almost has like this dog-like look to it now, but you could still make use of the blue wyrmling as a different creature if you wanted to. Just FYI, you just might want to buff it down a little bit. You could even use a little bit of green stuff or what have you to kind of make a smoother back or whatever. But the focus right now is we just wanted those wings. That's all we wanted, were those wonderful wings. The other thing we're going to do is, you can see in the original artwork that Luke did, we have that cool little fireball thing. So we're going to recreate the fireball once the mini is done being painted completely, because trying to work around a cotton tuft and painting a mini is not fun. So we're going to recreate that fireball in the one hand, which means we want to cut away the mace that is in this hand. So we're going to trim that off at the top and underneath the hand, and that will become sort of the hand that's going to hold the spell effect. Now, with this particular mini, Yes, Orkira is not holding a shield, but we're going to keep the shield on because if you look, it's actually quite solidly put into the mini. If I wanted to remove the shield itself, that means I need to get another miniature that doesn't have a shield on that arm, that is a bent elbowed arm or close to, trim things away right about there, and then be able to, this is where you would want to use a pin, pin a fresh arm from a different mini onto this miniature, and probably even use a little green stuff to smooth out the seam line between basically the Frankenstein arm of one placed onto the Orkira miniature for this one. So we're going to leave the shield, but I have some ideas of what we're going to do with the shield based on the artwork that we're going to be working with. So fear not, this is definitely going to be a very Orkira shield.
And she does canonically have a shield and has used it before. It's been,
so
been a little while, but she does have a shield. She mostly pulls it out for ceremonial stuff
there you go.
But you never know when she's going to pull it out more, because she's not wearing scale mail anymore. And while that's an amazing look, that does mean her AC kind of sucks. So she might be pulling the shield out more often.
So this is where the sprue cutters are definitely going to come in handy. I'm just going to line this up right against the edge of the hand. Oh god, the cats are going to love this one. These tend to go flying, so just a heads up. Oh, it didn't. Oh, lovely. Okay, so that was an invitation, Miss
That one went flying.
See? And
step on this later.
This will be something fun to save. You can always paint this up and use this in like little treasure piles. Like I could even take the pile of treasure over here if I wanted to and kind of just stick a hole in this a little bit and kind of stick that out. So it looks like there's a mace hidden in the treasure pile little thing. But you get the top off and then you're going to do the same at the bottom part of the hand here. Just take that sprue cutter, line it up with a hand and trim it away. And now we have just like this fist where we can put the flame effect kind of coming out once we get the mini done. So that is some important trimming away work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And
I'm
now
even just getting a little bit of sanding in because I was being a little cautious with my. I'd rather leave a little too much on and then sand it away than whoopsie, I lost a finger. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean mini finger, but also like human fingers too, like both of them.
No, get down.
No losing of fingers.
Girlie, there is super glue and stuff happening up here. I don't need you up here today. So the next thing we can do is, this is sort of an aesthetic thing that I wanted to talk to you about now that you can see these wings are off. We can manipulate these wings and have it so it looks like the wings are more extended out from Orkira's back. Or what we can do is do a trim here. You see where this line is right there?
Mm-hmm.
Trim it there so the wings look a little bit closer to the body and like they're about to unfold.
I like them coming out because first off, it kind of helps get them away from the body, which has a lot going on, especially with the shield. Okay. But also, like, the good thing, the good and the bad thing about kit bashing Orkira is she's just a weird, awkward creature, and body proportion stuff is already weirdly off with her because of what she's gone through. So things don't have to be perfect because she's not.
Okay. All right, cool. So the name of the game at this point then is we want to start sanding these down to kind of have a little bit more of a curvature. So I'm going to actually focus sanding into the midpoint, this area here of that wing, to try and eke out a little bit of that plastic.
Yeah. Just so they curve onto the back part of the back. I see that.
Yeah, and you can even, if you wanted to, especially with these trimmers, you could go in and trim this too, which I'll show you. Let me go in from the other angle. So you could do preemptive angling like this.
Preemptive angling.
So that'll kind of mesh more in place like that. But you'll still need to do some buffing down of the plastic.
Yeah. Trying to get it as smooth as possible so that it's going to adhere as nicely as possible.
Yeah.
And while we're doing that, Rough Rider 1995 has a question for you, V.
Oh.
Because we got to see Leanne on Idle Champions Presents for a
Yeah.
couple of episodes. And so they would like to know, will Leanne's familiar make an appearance?
Oh, Arden. You know, it's funny. We were talking about Leanne the other day. And I was joking around with Beat. I'm like, well, if anything, if we have another player drop out from another campaign, Leanne went, on her certain way. So Leanne could always potentially pop back in. As to whether she shows up in game or not, or Arden shows up in game, I don't know. I can't speak to that. But,
yeah,
I don't think that was a long goodbye for Leanne. she may come up again later on down the line.
Yeah.
But that was, talk about a quick creation character I was not expecting. And she just turned out to be fun to play. So I'm quite delighted in that respect that it worked.
Yeah, she was awesome. And did it suck that Gabe couldn't be there? Absolutely. But was it awesome that you got to jump on in and play this awesome character? Absolutely.
Yeah, I was grateful for that ability. Yeah,
and that's why it was extra nice at the end that we were able to get the both of you on the screen at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, that the streaming gods of tech worked for the most part.
Yeah.
Ironically, something must have been going on with the East Coast border because Gabe was starting to have some issues. I had a internet drop, and Jordan was saying that her internet was also being a little wonky all at the same time. I think it's because there was the storm coming through.
Yeah.
So that
all the issues were pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
and that's they were resolved.
That is just the world of streaming. Is you just deal with what you can, and it just, like the dice, sometimes they help tell the story.
Exactly. So I'm going in for as close of a fit as possible, sort of using the pauldron as an anchor. So pushing it up against to see how it fits there. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's looking.
I got one that I'm pretty happy with, and the other is...
The other one I need to work on still.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot more sanding to do, definitely. It is not... I wonder if I've got a smaller... I may actually have to do a little bit of clipping because this wing is almost convex, and I need it to be concave.
Yeah, that's fair.
Messy Duval has a very fun question, maybe out of the blue, but we were talking about the D&D movie earlier. What's your favorite type of popcorn?
Oh, hot chocolate popcorn.
I was waiting. You had such a pleased look on your face.
Because it's something I just suddenly came up with one day, and I was like, oh, let's make some fun, flavored popcorn. And then I didn't have anything in the house except for some hot cocoa mix. So I mixed up hot cocoa mix in, I use grapeseed oil, but something just kind of get it so it's a liquidy form. Because if you go in powder form, then it's cough, cough, cough. But you mix that together and you pour it over popcorn, and yummy. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Favorite type of popcorn. I do prefer kettle corn when I can get it.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of that over regular popcorn, but there was this popcorn around here that we could get for a while that was a hint of lime popcorn,
ooh,
which was real good. And then of course, because we liked it, it went away.
Isn't that the way it goes?
That's what happens. But yeah, I don't have incredibly strong feelings on popcorn, but I do like it all.
That's
and
totally
Belswin,
fair.
I did not ignore your question. It's just a giant question. They're asking, tell us about Orkira's life as a child. And I'm like, I don't know if Orkira's ready to, she had a therapist, but we're not ready for public therapy. I don't know if we want to get into her life as a child on stream. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that there's a lot going on with that question. Actually, there's probably not too much, but also
there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. I will give the TLDR, which is actually up until the inciting incident that started her adventuring career, she had a fairly nice, boring life. Like, she had loving parents and a tribe that she lived with, and up until she was an adult, she had a very nice life. And then inciting incidents happened, and she went off and became an adventurer. But until then, she has a tragic backstory, but not immediately.
Right. It was less because of past and more because of current situations.
Yeah, it's literally the thing that sent her
Yeah.
off on her what is now the rest of her life.
Right.
But yeah, otherwise, just in general, happy normal dragonborn child in the Nintervale with a tribe of dragonborn wandering around in the mountains.
There you
All
go.
right, let's see if we can get this.
All right, I'm pretty happy with the fits.
I'm.
You still need to work on your end. That's totally cool. There's no rush. You want to get it to where you're happy.
Yeah, it's getting there, but it's still.
Yeah.
Both of them still need a little bit more of a curve. Oh, also, hi, Urban Bohemian. Nice to see you in chat. Excited to play with you tomorrow in the charity game.
Excited to have you playing Disco for us on Monday.
Yes, very excited to see Disco in their new form too. Because I've had the pleasure of playing with Disco, but it was the baby Moonstone Dragon version.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this just a little more curved.
That's fair.
There's also going to be one of those moments in where, there's always a little bit of cleanup after this show, but this show especially is going to have
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I knew, we knew in advance it was going to happen.
I mean, quite frankly, if you're really going to be kit bashing and going to town, I normally would be wearing like a mask, but then you're going to hear like, and I want to make sure you're hearing my voice clearly and guiding you through this, especially when we're dealing with sharpie, pokey, ouchy items.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, it's a little dusty, but this isn't.
It's not terrible. Yeah.
No, this isn't like danger dusty.
Yeah, I mean, I've done ones where I've had like a little pile I could scoop up at the end because I really went to town on something.
Okay, that's where I'm pretty happy with this one.
Okay.
This one. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get exact, but
you won't get a perfect fit. That's where we're definitely going to be putting some
baking soda.
Thank you. I'm like, it's a word, it's white and it's powdery.
I knew it was coming.
I'm like, I was just talking about it, and my brain goes, you know what? You forgot what day of the week it's been this whole month, so if you want a word, forget it.
Yeah. Nope. Ugh.
Okay, so that's good. I think I'm pretty happy with these wing fits.
I've got a little bit more on the one before I think
fair.
Before I think it is something I can work with. I don't know if I'm
that's fair.
Gonna get to the point where I'm happy with it, but just that it works.
Yeah, my super glue also decided to have some fun, and I don't know what. So while you do that, I'm just gonna clean up my nozzle a little bit.
Yeah, Lurking Rider, it is a charity game that we can talk about. I'm just having a blue screen brain moment.
Day.
It is. I know it's through Saucefire. We're doing a 24-hour live stream. Not every. We're all not doing 24 hours, but it is
collective.
Multiple games happening all in a row, raising money for someone. Very wonderful. Oh, jeez. But I do remember. So our game is 9 a.m. tomorrow Pacific. And it includes Brian, who is here in chat, also includes Omega Jones and Eugenio Vargas. So there are plenty of people that you know from Idle Champions who are all going to be playing in the game tomorrow. And I will say, if you watched our Grung mini show with Jasmine, you'll know who I'm playing. All right,
It's
I've seen that
awesome.
you've grabbed the baking soda. So
yes,
it's
grab
that
the
time.
baking soda. I have grabbed liquid is vital. Grab liquid super glue, not gel super glue. Liquid is important. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with just putting some glue on one of the wings on the edges that we've just been working on. This one has a nice chonky bit on it that we can start for an anchor point. So I'm gonna start with some glue on that and give it a little bit of exposure time to help it get tacky. And then put the cap back on so you're not trying out your super glue. Usually about 10 seconds or so, blowing it a little bit. And then...
Are you not... What is going on with you, super glue?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Less super.
Oh.
Over supered.
Uh-uh.
That
all right, do I have another one before I start playing around with this one? Let me see, because this came in a pair. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Should have tested this before the show, but this
dear.
I did not. All right, I might have to grab a pin and
okay.
Let's see if one of these will work first.
All right, meanwhile, chat, if you could put a 30-second timer on for me, that'd be very cool. Because I just put the wing on to kind of get it started.
Oh, yeah, I see all the gunk in the thing. Let's see, is that enough? Oh, nope, I'm going to need a longer pin. Okay. Hold fast. I will return momentarily.
Please. Hold, please. Please to be holding. That's the other fun thing about live streaming is when you have supplies and you think you have it and then nope. Hello, Cypher. How are you? Thank you for the resub too. That is wonderful. Yeah, I was hanging out in Cypher's stream this morning and oh my gosh, what was that game again? Because that was so lovely and so mellow and it was exactly what I needed. Terra Nil. Okay, that was adorable. And you had it on, what was it, Zen mode, right? Yeah, that was wonderful. Time, okay. Let's see, does the wing hold? The wing, she holds. Okay, so we have one wing on here, which is crucial and important. That's what we want. What we're doing, for those of you just jumping in, is we're creating an Orkira. No, wrong way. We're making an Orkira mini out of 2 WizKids minis. We're taking the blue dragon wyrmling and we're taking a dragonborn cleric with tail. And we're putting the wings on so we can get what you see going on with our Orkira right there. And again, this is new art from Luke McKay. So yes, a Wild Lauren has disappeared because a Wild Lauren super glue has decided to go rogue and not work, which happens. But that's totally cool. Now, what I'm going to do here, and we're going to do it again when Lauren gets back anyways, you can see that there is just a little bit of gapping going on here, and I'm going to do the fun little trick with baking soda and super glue. So what I'm going to do is run a bead of super glue right where that meets up. Okay, so get it to go in there. Also going to do a little bit on the upper portion here on the shoulder. Just like that. A little is going to go a very long way, and you can actually tap the mini a little bit, and that's going to make the liquid sort of fall into that seam line.
Well, it's a good thing we don't need much super glue. Because, yeah, I was able to unclog it, but there is
shows.
There's precious little left in here.
And then what I'm doing is I'm sprinkling that baking soda right on top, and then I'm going to flip it over, and then take an old brush and remove the residue. Old brush is important in case you have any leftover super glue. You will be painting the bristles together, and this will be null and void after you're done. But that starts filling in. You can see that gap right there. So you were able to find super glue, right, though? Yeah?
Yeah, but getting it out has been a challenge. So I might be, like I said, I've got enough for the first wing.
Okay. Can you Do you think the bottle is itself done? Because you can always just trim off the top of the super glue bottle and pour super glue into a paper plate.
That's what I'm probably going to have to do with wing number 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is definitely a done bottle. But
Absolutely.
fortunately, I should have enough for 2 wings.
Okay, well that's good. So what you'll want to do is get your wing applied once you do get that glue. And then I'm doing the seam and super glue and baking soda trick on the seam lines.
Okay.
Of the wing. So basically I'm doing the same thing to the other wing.
Okay.
Or the other side of the wing, I mean.
I'm just going to be behind you.
Yeah. And as for the question about the resin UV pens bonding, it's a fun trick. Yes, it does work. However, I'm working underneath hot lights and very expensive equipment and also airflow. So no, I have not used those types of things for that. I honestly prefer doing this baking soda trick. And it's also more readily accessible for people who are just learning how to do miniatures.
All right, super glue. Let's see if I can.
Okay, there we go. So see, now this isn't something where you can put a whole bunch of weight onto the wing, but now the wing is far more secured against the body of the critter than it was before. All right. I mean, this is basically a trick that is used for acrylic nails, and people go around and like they're with their nails all the time. So that's why it's a bond I trust, and we're also gonna put some primer on top of this. But yeah, we'll let that wing kind of settled and cure a little bit there.
I've officially cut open the bottle of super glue,
Ooh,
and now there's just super glue everywhere. But hopefully I will be able to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. This is the end of this was going to be the end of that bottle. It's all pretty gummy in there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's okay. We're just gonna take our time. You go on without me. I'll just be here holding wings. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing with the other wing. I'm gonna first put the super glue onto the wing, onto that stubby bit, and then onto the longer bit. Actually, I got a little bit more than where I wanted it. It's okay. Bless you, kitty. I have a sneezy kitty.
Aw, sneezy kitty.
Yeah, I got a little bit more than I wanted on the side of the wing, which I just removed with a little bit of tissue quickly. Okay, and then give that a little airtime, and then chat. We're gonna need your help again for timer fun. Okay, timer. I need a timer.
Thank you, chat.
Yep. What the baking soda does is it reacts with the super glue, and you get this new composite. It's almost resin-like in its own. It's this chemical reaction, basically. So it fills in the gap. It gives you a stronger bond, and it also helps dry it faster. Warthog, to answer your question. Holding. Please hold.
I think I got one on there.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna have to be a little gentle with it for a little while, but it's staying. So let's see if I can get the other on before my super glue decides that doesn't want to do anything anymore ever.
Right. Okay.
And I guess I know what I'm gonna be picking up at the store later.
Right. How is this working? So it's staying where I need it to be. Okay, so that is now on where I'd like it to be. Thank you, Bookish Oddish. I appreciate it. So I'm going to do the seam line trick again. I'm actually going to go from above first because you can see I have some gapping up at the top here. So I kind of tend to do it in little sections as needed too. Testing.
And now I could definitely use give me a full minute actually, just so that I'm being extra cautious since my super glue is all running. Oh, hi, Cipher of Tear.
Yes.
Look at all these awesome friends coming into chat while we're
Do.
doing all the kit bashing. Thank you, Alaric Frost.
I love how chat gets involved and becomes our timers for this stuff. It's fantastic.
It's amazing because I don't want to let go of this right now.
Right?
Because that's just asking for trouble.
Truly a help. It really is a help when you all do this for us. I know it may seem very simple, but for us, we're not doing the mental, okay, we have to talk, but count and hold and what?
Yeah. Elgon Pet Commander, we used to do Twitch drops for our streams into the game. We gave it a try, and for bunches of votes of reasons, it didn't work very well. Especially since they were connected to Steam, and so they were things that only Steam people could get. So that's one of the reasons that we have the codes in our chat and on our screens for Electrum chests that anybody can use. Mm-hmm. So, thank you, Alaric Frost. Oh, look, I've let go of the wings. Okay, now to use all the baking soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely I'm gonna baking soda the heck out of this thing. But yes, so we tried it for a little while and it was just not ideal for our users. And we may try again. I need to grab. We may try again, especially if we can figure out how to do it better. But for the moment, doing the codes on screen are the best way for all of our users to be able to get funding.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can use the last of the super glue. Make this as secure as possible. And if not, then I will just have extra homework to do. Okay. Lesson learned. Check your super glue before sitting down.
I mean, that happens.
Work on a mini.
And speaking of super glue, cap your super glue too when you're not using it. Little bit bad. But you can now see how the Orkira mini is starting to take some shape here, folks.
Hey. My wings are a little off kilter, but you know what? So is Orkira, so I'm okay.
I mean, that's kind of the nature of the game too. And plus, if you look at, animals when they do pull their wings out, they don't really keep them perfectly even when they're just trying to, pull them out or stand there or anything like that. So
yep.
The whole symmetry thing is kind of, no, you can get away with them being slightly askew because that's really how it looks anyways in real life for a lot of these creatures when they're just standing there with their wings out. Yep. But that gives you an idea of how this is all starting to come together. So there's that. And I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup because I don't want to have baking soda kind of floating everywhere. But the nice thing is it's baking soda and I have a carpeted floor. So all I have to do is this. And I'll vacuum it up in like an hour.
Yep.
You think I'm kidding? Soda. I'm not. I'm like, it'll deodorize the carpet.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It'll work. And we should be done with the cutting board too. So I'm going to take that down because the grid actually makes my eyes hard to focus when I'm looking at my OBS screen.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So putting my grid away because we're not choppy anymore.
I'm doing a little...
shake this off too.
A little more work on just securing these wings. So I'm still behind you, but...
It's okay. I'm doing like some... Oh, sorry, Cotton. Cotton's like, stop, you disturb my slumber.
Never disturb the kitty slumber.
You have disturbed my slumber. How dare. All right. So there's that. And then next thing I'm going to snaggeroo. You said you're running low on super glue, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to want, you have your Mod Podge Ultra by you?
I do.
Then you're going to want to snag that.
Okay. Let me finish tapping on my winged door here. And...
Tap. No, that's gloss. I keep doing that every single time.
You want the
mat?
The mat? Okay.
The matte. The matte, which is, again, my pet peeve is the matte is in the gold, and you would think that gloss would be gold because of the G's and all of that.
And we're done with the baking soda if we're done with
We
the
are
wings?
done with we're done with the baking soda, since the
Good,
wings
'cause
are
I'm
now adhered. And now the
be
next
safe
thing
and
is
just stick
the
the cap back on.
yes. Please be safe. Safety
Mod
first.
Podge, mat. Nope, that's the mat. Okay,
There you
yes,
go.
I have a mat.
All right, so I'm going to take some of this mat, and you can do this on a paper plate too. I just have this little container here that I'm going to pour some of the Mod Podge mat into that because we're going to be soaking tissue to drape and create a scarf around the dragonborn.
I use that too. I have an extra.
Folks, my brain
Excellent. I have an extra one of those too.
There you go.
Perfectly.
So yeah, just carefully. This is why I like the Mod Podge Ultra. It's a pump action spray bottle. So you can very easily just kind of open it up and pour as needed where you want it. Instead of having to like spritz it into something. See, just like that. It looks like milk. Don't drink it. This is the mom in me coming out.
Please don't drink
the Mod Podge.
Just don't drink or eat
don't
anything.
Do that. Just
with.
Don't.
Forbidden snack.
Oh, the big plush. Okay, so that the big plush behind me is a story. That is a big cat's plushie that is so squishable and cuttable and fantastic. And Brian just majorly called me out in the chat. Thank you. And that is actually an adorable little welcoming gift that Brandis got me. Brandis and I, we play a really fun game every Tuesday night, D&D game with some buddies. And so Brandis sent this cat as a housewarming gift. Aww. And my kiddos really liked it. Like, what should we name it? I saw my buddy Brandis sent it to me. Like, well, let's name it Brandis. So that's Brandis.
There you go. Hey, sometimes going with the simple is the best.
Yeah. So now what I'm going to grab is just basic tissue, and I'm going to peel it apart because I don't need it to be a thick double ply. Just a simple single ply, so you can actually even see the logo happening kind of underneath and everything. You want it to be thin, the tissue. And what we're going to do is use this tissue to create a scarf. Cat. No.
A scarf cat? No, not
no.
A scarf.
No, we almost had Hemingway jump into the scene.
So I think in all of the panic over the super glue, I've lost my piece of toilet paper. So I'm going to go grab that. Yes, it's my mini. It's for an Orkira, and I'm just apparently so unprepared that I have to keep leaving.
It's totally... We knew that this was going to be the assembly day. This is pretty much assembly day. If we can get to primer, then we're golden.
Yeah, and if not, that's okay. We have plenty of other episodes, so I'll be right back.
Exactly. Sounds good. All right, so I'm gonna wait because explaining the next part, you need to be here for this. But I am gonna move a cat. Let me get Hemingway. Come here. Come here. No. All right. Hold on. Caddis interrupt us again.
I mean, the good news is it's not a big apartment, so when I have to go and get something, it's right there.
Here,
hi,
say
kitty.
Hello to your fans, Hemi. Say hi. Wave hello. Wave hello. Hi. There we go. Now go away.
Hi.
Now leave me. And scene. All right.
Okay. I'm going to get myself a ply.
A ply. A single ply.
A single. There we go.
Ta-da. So basically you want to just kind of pull a strip off.
Okay.
And kind of start folding it up as if it were a scarf. Like a little miniature scarf. Well, literally a miniature scarf. And I'm going to just sort of put the back portion of the scarf between the wings, like so. Just gonna let it lie there.
Okay.
And then what you can do is take a paintbrush and just start putting it onto the tissue so it starts to saturate it. And you can also use the brush to manipulate the tissue where you want it to lie or lay because it's where you want it to lay.
And I will say it's an interesting piece of outfit that Orkira has. It does look like a scarf, but it's based on a Viking shawl. And so while the big portion of it is kind of wrapped around her top. It literally is kind of like a scarf that also goes all the way
Mm,
down to her waist. So it doesn't have to completely do the scarf thing because it's technically kind of in a way.
okay.
Um, because yeah, when you got wings and a tail, it can be a pain in the ass on a regular basis to put on a shirt. So sometimes just having a big
Fair.
thing that wraps around and goes around places works real well.
Oh, there
Okay.
you go. So basically, the name of the game is kind of just make this drape around Orkira.
All right. Painting with toilet paper. That's what we're doing. I'm here
Right?
for it.
It's kind of hard to show off because white with the there. I'll just move my lighting. Actually, yeah, let me shift my lighting a little bit so you can see a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward.
Oh yes. TG Nubis. Thank you. Thank you everybody for your patience. But here is my progress so far. A little harder to see because I don't have the super nice close-up camera, but I got the wings on there and now it's shawl time.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of weirdly fun of like painting on clothing.
Yeah. And I've done this with some really cool effects. My favorite thing working with tissue paper and stuff like that was this Giant's Tomb terrain piece that I built. And if you want to see it, you can go to my YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, and I think it's like a 3-step tutorial set of videos. But did a lot of cool uses of like cheesecloth and tissue for the burial shroud details. So it's kind of neat the things you can tap into to create different looks.
And get there, get there. There we go.
Mm-hmm. You live there.
I am
This
just
is where you live now.
very impressed by how easy is the wrong word, but how seamless, I guess. Like this is actually kind of fun and easy. I
Mm-hmm.
thought the tissue paper would be um just like breaking all over the place, but
Nope. The trick is to start on one end with the moisture, letting the other end stay dry. Because the other end starts acting as a wick, it's pulling the moisture away if you have, for some reason, overdo it or what have you. And it gives you more control as you work around. And the paintbrush becomes sort of a sculpting tool as a
yeah.
result. So you can move it around and you can manipulate it a little bit. And you have a little bit of play around time because this is still damp. All right. That's something you can move and shift and layer up as you see fit, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, and now back over the wings. And because it's the Mod Podge, I don't feel like I have to be stingy with
Yeah,
it. I can just
exactly.
grab some more and
Yep.
go for it.
Yep. So I think what I'm going to do is sort of, I want to travel all the way around the bottom. I don't want to add too much bulk to the waist is the thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of running into that myself.
So I think what I can do is bring it around. Yep, just did it. Bring it around and then just did a quick little tug. And you can see it moved that. So I'm not creating this abundance of too much. Oh, hold on.
Oh, like under the arm?
For one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
portions, yeah. There we go. So here we go. I have it so that a portion of it is going underneath the arm and the other portion is sort of just hanging down the back. Like so.
Yeah. And this is also helping cover up the armor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then what I'll do is I'm going to go in with a smaller shred of the tissue paper and apply it to the front portion of the torso. Again, just to kind of hide it a little, because you can see in the art from Luke, it's more wrapped around the torso. It's less armor and more of the fabric.
Yeah.
So I do want to try and capture that as best I can. Just make sure you kind of keep it above. There's this little belt action going on, which I do want to keep out. Just going to tuck this around.
There we go.
See, it's starting to look like a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Do you want to? I got a little chunk on the front that I got to try to spread out a little bit here.
Okay.
There we go. And just the natural part of this armor also has the hanging down bit between the legs, which helps.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to treat this bit as part of, it's going to get painted the same color as this work. So it looks like a more cohesive piece. That's why I want to make sure that belt is sticking out. So it kind of looks like it's been cinched in at the waist, and then it's a continuation of the same bit. So see how you can see the belt sticking out? That's kind of crucial for the blending.
Okay. All right. Then I got a bit more work to do here on making that work.
Mm-hmm.
The Rough Rider 1995 asks, will Orkira be an adventure boss since she's facing left on the overlay? Nah. That is just the way that Luke drew her.
Well, plus Orkira appears elsewhere, not just in the champions lineup, so that makes sense.
Also, you wouldn't want to fight Orkira because clerics are nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that Orkira specifically. The clerics...
Yeah.
You do not want to fight clerics.
My Chult cleric, Cordata, oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
She started doing some stuff and we're like, yep, this is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
This is good stuff.
I mean, not only can they just lay on a bunch of damage, but then when they get hurt, they can just heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, especially high-level clerics. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had this is years ago. Todd and I did a stream in where we were showing, I don't remember exactly what we were showing off on stream, but it involved then me and him essentially doing a 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was playing one of the bad guys from Heroes of the Plains, and I played a high-level Orkira. And the moment that like the guy got a pretty good hit on her, and she had like spiritual weapon up and all these other things, and so she had other things that she could do, but the guy got a pretty good hit, and she went, okay, heal, there's 70 more hit points, and also I have a bonus action to do things.
Amazing.
And that's when he's like, I think I'm done.
Amazing.
So yeah, clerics are fairly deadly like that.
Yes. All right, what I just did, this is a fun little trick that I'll do while the tissue is still damp. I took some super glue, and this is not needed. It's just something I like to do for extra oomph. I put some of that super glue along the back where all these other pieces came together, and then also at this part that was in the back, and I kind of just lifted it up so it looks like it has some motion now to it, and the super glue will help it stiffen up sooner so you can kind of keep that fun little flip-a-doo. So if you have enough little bit of super glue left once you're done, you can totally do that, but it isn't necessary.
Okay.
But it just goes, see? Now it holds it in place for me so that it can finish drying. Just a fun little trick. And let me cap the glue again.
I'm just working on getting some bits smoothed down, so it's not quite so much of a bulky thing. Although it is, like the shawl is a little bit of a bulky thing, just because of the nature of what shawls are.
Right. But still, it gives a nice little nod to looking like what you have more going on down below or right there.
Yeah.
So that'll work. And the cool thing is this is all going to start to dry and adhere, and you get a little bit of extra support because of that. Oh yeah, Brother Uriah too is another one. It's just another cleric, just like, holy moly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible because, once again, most D&D characters are not really built for 1v1s, so it's really hard to be like, well, this character would definitely win in a fight.
Right.
But clerics are never underestimate the how hard it is to kill a cleric.
Yeah.
Especially when they are actually trying to defend themselves and not concerned with the rest of the party.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't have to worry about anybody else but myself. Okay, death ward and heal and yeah.
Yep.
Here's
all those tricks start coming out, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Yep.
That's another cool thing. Okey-dokey.
All right. I think.
You good?
Yeah, I feel like any more, and I'm basically just gonna be.
That's fair.
I'm gonna be moving stuff around until it's until I just start breaking stuff off.
Okay, Cypher just said Celise one-shot death. Dang, Celise!
Listen, that was amazing. And that's why it's like, no, I'm never gonna say like, oh, cleric could beat anybody in a fight. Because yeah, if Orkira went up against Celise, like that would be one of those things in where as soon as Celise could get one hit, that's the end of the fight. But if Orkira can stay out of her reach, then there's a chance, So yeah, it is.
See, I love stories like this.
Yeah, Celise is deadly. In all of her incarnations. Celise. And that moment in that one shot that you played in where death came up and you were just like, okay, now what were we doing? It was so cool.
That's incredible. Really.
Yeah. Sometimes a pull from the deck of many things isn't just horrific.
See?
Right, there we go. Oh, mine's, yeah.
It's hard when they're like pure white. But speaking of there being pure white, now what we want to do, because we've handled this a bit and the primer has been compromised from the cutting and the et cetera, we're going to want to go in with primer and start painting this. But what we're going to do is take, you and I both have gray primer. We're going to need some black to turn it into like a dark gray.
Okay.
Instead.
Let me grab black.
Some black wash. I also need to grab my black. Need to go back to black. Where are you?
So I did the thing that I finally said I was going to do. So these prismatic paints, they come in two lovely, lovely cases. And they say on the front of the case what's supposed to go in where. But here's the thing. Mine got so mixed up that I'm like, I'm just going to put these in alphabetical order. So my basic set is beginning of the alphabet. And so here's all the B's. And so, yep, there we go. That's black.
Hello,
wash.
bees.
There's black. I'm very proud of my alphabetical order paint.
I mean, that's impressive. That is impressive.
I don't know if it's impressive, but I'm proud of it.
Taking the time to alphabetize your paints is impressive in my book.
Okay.
All right, I am.
That's the Mod
It's
Podge.
been a while since I've used my primer and it came very separated. So I'm shaking. Always shake your paints, folks. That's my ASMR.
I don't think I have another little thing.
You can pour the Mod Podge back in if you want to, because these are pliable enough to kind of create a spout. That's what I did. It's honestly what I just did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad this is helpful for you, Zazzle Royal. I wanted to start painting models like this. I'm so happy to see this. Yay!
Yay!
That is a good thing. All right, let me see. You gonna behave yourself?
Ooh.
There we go.
That's probably more than I need, but that's okay.
Well, it has a lid. You can cap it.
That's true.
Always shake your paint, folks, unless the lid is off. That's another true bit of advice. Yes, thank you, Lurking Rider.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool. I put a drop of the black in there, and it.
Oh, did it do like its galaxy thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time coming up with what the word was for that, but yep. And so you said we're looking for like a darker gray?
Yeah, like a dark gray tone.
All right, I think I need a little more black.
I probably am too. We'll see. Oh, maybe not. Did I make a layer on myself? Yeah, just a little bit more black. Yeah, it's like a slate gray. One a little bit darker than that one. Bloop,
Oh,
bloop, bloop.
I need a lot more black then.
Oop.
I looked up at yours. I'm like, oh, you're a significant amount darker than mine. That's okay.
Yeah,
I can catch up.
you'll be good. Not to worry.
Oh, I forgot. This has a stench.
There's an odor to this primer.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm,
All right.
mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna, so you can see, like that kind of a black.
Okay.
Graphite black. There we go. It's a graphite black. I can't think of a food for reference because if your food's gray, that's problematic.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
What's the pasta that they use squid ink
Oh
to
yeah.
make it dark? It's that kind of thing.
Right? Okay, so I'm gonna go in, I'm just gonna start priming this. Nice thin layer.
Now, are we just doing the whole
Thing,
thing
mini.
or we
Yep.
Okay.
I'm giving the scarf some time to dry before I put this on there. You can put this on top of the scarf too. It'll saturate into the material. And again, because this is acrylic paint is plastic, that will add further reinforcement to the scrap of tissue paper you just put around your mini and help it harden up. But I'm going to do that last.
All right, I'm just going to put a whole big
Bloop.
of black in here because I'm just
Bloop.
nowhere near. Grab black, right? Oh, grab black. Okay.
Was it one of the runnier blacks? Because I think there was a black you had that was kind of runny, and that would definitely affect the pigmentation.
I don't think so. I think maybe I just put more of the
Gray.
primer in than you
Yeah.
did, and so it's just taking me a little bit longer. But
Okay.
There we go. That's
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a thick coat. We basically just want something that starts kind of filling in the nooks and crannies, but also gives another layer of protection to help the other paints adhere a little bit better. Because we've done a lot of buffing and sanding and et cetera, so that's compromised some areas that you may not even realize. So better to put on a fresh coat of primer in this case.
There we go. And so far the wings seem to be holding, so
Yep.
I think
that's
think
the
we're
hope.
good there.
Sweet. Sweet.
That was what I was the most worried about, was the wings.
Yeah.
Especially when it was like, wait, what happened to my That's okay. Lesson learned. Next time I know I'm going to be doing stuff. I don't assume that my super glue is ready to do stuff.
Super.
I'm just patting the scarf part of it instead of brushing. It's just like pat, 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 pat.
Exactly.
Pat,
you kind of blot it in there. This also helps, like, if we have areas that are harder to get to, when it comes time to put in color, you're kind of creating this shadowy area. So if anything kind of gets accidentally skipped over, it won't be as glaringly obvious as having a big white patch sitting in a spot you realized you missed. It's a little insurance policy when painting.
I like insurance. Especially on my minis.
Yeah, me too. It helps.
Yeah. Pat, 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 pat. There you go. That's getting there.
There you go. so I can see again. Like, I'm having a hard time seeing it's dark. It's like, oh yeah, I moved my light so the camera could show it better. Well, now I need to see.
And I like these wings that we grabbed off of the other mini.
Wyrmling,
They've got
yeah.
a lot of
Texture.
really nice, really nice texture.
It'll be fun to bring out. Texture is always fun to play around with miniatures.
Yep, and the dragonborn with a tail, which is just in minis is just one of those things you still see.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that V and I had been talking about, although I think this is more fun. I'm glad that we're doing like a full-on kit bash.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragonlance minis that WizKids put out.
Yeah.
There's a couple that's like, oh yeah, that's Orkira right there.
Right? Yeah.
Like, we could just alter some of that paint job and there we go.
I mean, that is something we can do. We can show people how to enhance pre-painted miniatures for an episode.
True, but at this point now we can do it with like another mini because I think this is fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus it's truly your own custom mini.
Yeah. Well, I got primer all over my fingers, but that's just gonna happen.
That's okay.
It's just gonna happen.
I still, to this day, chuckle about the one custom mini I did for, I think it was for Justice, actually. He needed a Jarlaxle, and he sent me the Jarlaxle that he wanted painted up, and the resin of the miniature was so brittle it was scary, to be honest. Like, I kept touching it with a paintbrush, and it just kept breaking. So I messaged him like, listen, this miniature does not want to be painted, doesn't even want to be assembled. So we have a couple options. I can take another mini and kind of make it look like Jarlaxle and paint it up in the colors and everything like that. I can take the head from this mini and put it on another miniature's body and have it look more like Jarlaxle because you have the distinct hat and everything like that. Which was the option we went with, and I ended up kit bashing Jarlaxle's head onto a different miniature's body. But boy, that was a rather disturbing looking session.
Get the head off of here. It's been a very, very long time, but that is, I have a mini back there, and it also is of a Dragonborn actually, but it's from 4th edition. I had a Dragonborn sorcerer, and I had found 2 minis. This was way back at PAX Unplugged, not PAX Unplugged, PAX West, back when it was just PAX, because there was still just the one. Like, back in my day. Anyway, here in Seattle. And so the place that had the minis were also doing like a take and paint kind of thing. You could just sit down and you either could get a free mini and just sit and paint, or if you bought one, you could paint that. And so when I was looking at like, well, this is the sorcerer body I want, but they don't have any Dragonborn in the sorcerer. And so one of the guys was just like, all right, what head do you like? Which of these Dragonborns do you like of their head? And yeah, he helped me the head off of one and stuck it on the other. And so I do have one other that I did get a lot of help with the assembly on that, but that was just the head.
Yeah. Still, it's cool that you're able to do it that way.
Yeah. Luke wants to know, has Orkira encountered a half dragon in game? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I can't think of one. Officially anyway. I don't think it would be a big deal if she did. And the time that she spent on Kryn was historically before a lot of the Draconians came along. So I don't think she's actually, like, she knows about all of that, and that's why Orkira can just never go to Kryn. She just can't. No, I don't think she's actually encountered a half dragon.
Interesting.
And to be honest, like, the differences are minor, but it is the tail. I think the tail is probably the biggest giveaway. TG Nubis wants to know, from Zaz Royal, Okay, from 2 different people. I know I can get stuff from Michaels and what have you, but what are the best paints/models to work with if you're just starting? Which I
Okay.
know V will have
Yeah.
excellent answers for, but I'll
Yeah.
start with if you go, let me grab the drink. If you go to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, drink. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We have in the Paint and Slay channel pinned a whole bunch of information on all of the minis that we've been doing. So I pinned the information of what you need. But one of the first pins is here's some basic supplies that you can pick up that you can then use to paint pretty much all of the minis that we do with only a few exceptions. And there's really there's like a single set of paint and a set of brushes that are very reasonably priced, and they will last for many, 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 many minis.
Yeah, absolutely. However, because you mentioned Michaels, you can actually use those craft paints you see at Michaels, especially if this is something where you're just starting out. You want to get a feel for how paint works on plastic, et cetera, et cetera. Especially if you're on a tighter budget, because you will get 2 to 4 ounce bottles that are, 50 cents to $1.50 with those craft paints. And many of them work quite effectively on miniatures. I have many a miniature floating around me that I can't reach right now that have actually been painted with craft paints or other varieties of paints. So if you're just starting out, I recommend that you do grab those craft paints and give that a try, because you can get the basic 6 bottles of black, white, brown, red, yellow, blue, and you can start doing your mixing of colors together with all of those. And that'll cost you maybe about $5 for all the paints. And then you can get your brushes and everything like that for, a reasonable amount of money, easily under $20. But if it's something where you want to go more all in, then the kit and the supplies and everything that Lauren was talking about on our Discord, that's another good place to start. So it's kind of up to you in terms of your budget, what you're willing to spend, and how, not all in, but how eager you are to get into the hobby.
Yeah.
If you're kind of just interested, try those craft paints out, see how it works. If you really want to devote your time and energy to really learning how to work with the paints and do the different techniques, then yeah, you can get that starting set of Vallejo paints is what they are.
And like I said, the nice thing about that is they
Yeah.
last for many, 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 many minis.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of
They're
moved on
still
to
not
using the
gone.
prismatic paint sets, but I still have my Vallejo set. There's
So do
still
I.
plenty, and I'm still using this is a brush. I mean, now I'm using it as a primer brush, so
Right.
it's not a painting brush anymore, but
Yeah.
I still have that original set of brushes that I use.
Mhm.
So
I
they
mean,
last for a while.
I have paints that are easily over 5 years old now. I have about 7 different cases of Vallejo paints, and they're all still quite usable now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way it do. So give it a try, see how it goes. I am still applying the primer.
Nope, that's okay. I was slightly less careful, but also now I have more to clean off my hands later. But now I can. Caleb Marin says 7 cases. Holy jeez, am I jealous? But I mean, I assume that is over a long time of being a mini painter.
It is a long time of being a mini painter, and also, working with different companies who will send you things so that you can work with the paints and everything like that. That gives you context as to why when people are like, hey, have you tried contrast paints? I'm like, where would I put them? It's like, unless someone sends them to me and asks me to generally try them, which I will happily do, I don't seek out to purchase paint, because to me that would be a wasteful purchase because I don't need it. Curious, sure, but I don't need it.
Oh, there we go. I just noticed a few places.
Yeah, it's kind of happening to me too. I'm like, oh, that's a missing spot.
For me, I think it's less of that I missed a spot and more just maybe it's a thinner layer.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of adding a
fair.
touch more, just so it's not. Most of it's around the head. I think I was just trying to be extra careful around the head because of the scarf. Oh, Zaz Royal. First off, Mazel Tov on the being a cancer survivor. I'm looking for an outlet, and this seems really chill. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
This is I mean, especially when I mean we're slightly more I mean, we're talkative, enthusiastic, but we're on stream,
Right.
but there's definitely been, just sit and listen to some music and
Oh yeah.
paint, and it's one of
Absolutely.
it's definitely one of those hobbies in where, especially for me, I enjoy the process more than the finished product in a weird way. Like the ones that we've done, I'm very proud of, and I think they look super cool, but
Mm-hmm.
the actual act of painting is the enjoyment part for me. Partially because I get to hang out with V, but also like it's a fun thing to focus on. And especially when you're in that mindset of like, I'm gonna try to make this what I want, but it's also a miniature, and if it doesn't come out exactly, it's
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah, you definitely get into I've done classes at conventions and stuff where I'm teaching people how to paint, and you get into this zen and everyone gets into it about the same time, and it is so freaking cool when it happens. But you realize you're sitting there painting, and you can hear yourself breathing, you can hear the other painters breathing, you can hear like the water swishing around when people are rinsing their brushes, and it's just this very mellow, easygoing moment that happens with painting with miniatures, and it's actually a lot of fun to
Mm.
experience that. So if you have the ability to paint with a group of friends, or go to like a painting instructional class at your local game store, definitely give it a go, and hopefully get that wonderful zen moment with your fellow painters, because it's quite awesome.
It's happened with us, but we just
Hmm.
were on stream, so we were also very aware of like, oh, we should
We
also
stopped
be.
talking.
Yeah, we stopped talking. And it also, we'll know when it's coming up, especially with like really minor details. So it's
Hmm.
like, all right, chat, give us about 30 seconds. We're just going to be
Yeah.
quiet. All
Yeah.
right.
Just let us
Eyes.
concentrate for a moment. You got
All
definitely
the
eyes.
eyes.
Ay,
Oh,
ay, ay.
Cypher Tier says, I've been enjoying the Citadel contrast paints, but they take up so much room.
That's what I hear. You need like a dedicated shelving for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I hear good things about them. So, luckily, because I know other mini painters, if people say, "What do you think of the contrast rate?" I'm like, I hear good things about Citadel. I can say that. I hear good things. Have I used it personally? No. But I hear good stuff about them.
Yeah.
So, yay. That's not a bad thing.
And I mean, the other silver lining on they are giant is that you're getting a lot of paint. So
Mm-hmm.
those will probably be pots that last forever, forever and ever and ever.
Okay, I think. Nope. I spoke too soon.
Oh, you just found a. Yeah,
I did. I found a little splotchy area.
I am
Get back here. She's flying away on me. All right, I
I'm
think I'm
doing the
done.
best I can to show mine off without touching it too much
Don't touch it.
because it wet.
Touch.
It wet. You wet.
Touch. It is
Ah,
very wet. So here we go.
this one's wet and this one's wet.
Isn't that fun? We're starting to get the feel for. Ta-dum.
Yeah.
So we have wings on the dragonborn. We have that lovely shawl scarf wrap thing happening.
Yeah.
We have a cat here, which I'm going to remove. But yeah. So now the name of the game is we want this to dry a little bit before we do any additional work on this. Also because we want to make sure that that super glue really is curing. So do you have the little gold pile next to you?
A little.
That came with
yes.
a worm. You want to have some fun and
paint? It took me
paint?
a second. I'm like, little gold pile.
Little gold pile?
Is that a name of a paint? What's going on?
What? The what's happening?
Yes,
You still
I
have
do have
super glue?
No.
Not so much. Okay, so then we'll.
But also, I see what you're trying to do, and the head of my mace is somewhere on the floor.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't. I mean, I will join you in
I'm just gonna have some fun.
painting and having fun, but
yeah,
I definitely want to see it. But yeah, it's
okay.
down there somewhere.
So I'm actually gonna cut this down a little bit so it looks like it's just the upper portion of the mace poking out. So I've nipped that shaft down a little bit. And super glue that on.
I didn't even realize this was a gold pile at first. I just
Yeah, it's like jewels and stuff, so we can have some fun with this.
Yeah, I just thought this was a cool base for the dragon wyrmling, but
no, it's like a little hoard for your wyrmling.
Yeah.
Let's just stick it there and let it kind of hopefully take.
I just had the most ridiculous thought.
Of?
Well, because I'm looking at this hoard, and what's nice is when you look at it in detail, like now I'm seeing, oh, here's all the little round pieces for the...
Do you want to make this look like roasted marshmallows?
I was just thinking that. What does Orkira need with a pile of gold?
Okay, we'll make this look like a pile of roasted marshmallows then.
But yeah. That I mean, is it cliche for Orkira? Yes, but
we can do this.
We can do this.
All right, so grab yourself some leather brown and paint everything leather brown.
Okay. L for leather is gonna be in here.
No, that's beastie brown. I want leather brown.
Because I mean, why not just lean into who she is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but I'm gonna need a paintbrush that isn't covered in primer.
Yeah, I'm gonna need something for a palette because I didn't grab paper plates. Can you move, sir? Thank you. Oh, perfect. I'll use this.
And brush.
I'm just gonna use the blister.
I'll just grab you because we're just doing like a base coat of brown.
Yep, we're gonna put the leather brown on first.
Okay. Probably gonna need to water this down.
Yeah, mine's actually super liquidy.
Oh, then maybe I won't have to. Let's see.
I also pulled from one of my other leather browns, so it could just be like an older bottle going on. All right, so to make this look like marshmallows, we're going to start with leather brown, and you want to make sure this is getting into all those little nooks and crannies. And smooth around a bit.
Yep.
Oh, no, Cypher, this is not going to be a speed paint at all on Orkira. This is going to take some time. Hold on.
The fact that we're this far today is...
I'm happy about, quite honestly.
Yeah. And we got this far even with my issues with super glue.
Tech issues.
Nobody has been hurt yet.
Yay. Well, we're putting away the sharp tools after today, so if we get hurt, then we did something very wrong.
True, but I figured I wouldn't tempt fate by just being like, and nobody got hurt at all, because I'm... That's just tempting the...
It is.
Oh, you don't think you can get hurt with paint? Here we go. I still have a mace somewhere on the floor that I'm going to step on.
Luckily, it shouldn't be like stepping on a D4 or anything like that.
Yeah, it should be.
It's not going to tickle.
It'll be one of those like, there it is. I have a general idea of where it went, so...
Do I have my... I should have my... Haha! I should have broken it out sooner.
Oh, to put it on a little...
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but because I knew we were going to be doing a lot of the assembly and basically we were going to be making a little... Well, I knew we were going to be making a little bit more of a mess than we normally do. I put several extra layers of paper towels down on my desk. So I just put the gold pile down on the paper towels, and I'm just using the paper towels as something to hold it while I blot.
There you go.
Because why not? There we go. Lurking Rider, no humans were harmed in the making of this mini. Yet. Oh, Caleb Marin wants to know what's the difference between a pseudo-dragon familiar and a dragon wyrmling. You got me curious now. They're two different kinds of creatures. Yeah. So a dragon wyrmling is literally a young dragon. Just baby dragon.
Baby. Hatchling.
Baby dragon. Yeah. While a pseudo-dragon is a dragon, like, I think they are in the dragon... They are considered a dragon, as far as like their type, their creature type, but they are literally a small creature. They have a pseudo dragons have the stinger for the tail, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Seem to remember they've got a stinger for a tail with like some pretty minor poison damage. They're fairly intelligent, but nowhere near as intelligent as dragons. And pseudo dragons are the familiars are uh yeah, they only grow to like a small
They're
size.
smaller, yeah. The dragon wyrmlings, like, they'll keep growing. The pseudo dragons won't.
Even that dragon wyrmling that we just had, that's like a medium-sized
yeah,
creature.
it's the size of a human creature, or humanoidish creature here. I'll show you right now.
Yeah.
So this is the wyrmling, this is a medium, so you can see.
Yeah.
They're about the same.
Yep.
So lots of differences.
They are in the same family, and they are both dragons. So you're not wrong for being confused. So.
Oh my god. Okay, so once we get the leather brown, we can put that away. We'll be done with that.
Okay.
And then you'll probably want to grab, let's see, bone white.
Okay.
If I can find it.
The bee.
There's dead white. Where's the bone white? Yeah, so bone white, and I'm also grabbing some. What happened?
I found banshee white, and I found dead white.
Oh, hold on to the dead white.
Hold on. Okay.
Hold on to dead white.
There's my bone white. So I did put these in alphabetical order, but I did not go further than initial letter. Oh. So I just went B, C, D, E.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Still got to do a little bit of searching when I'm looking. Okay, what's next?
All right, so we're gonna do some heavier overbrushing with the bone white.
Okay.
On top of where we've just painted everything leather brown, except don't paint them. Well, you don't have the mace. I'm not gonna paint the mace with this. I'll do the mace in a different color. But we'll start dry brushing it with a heavier hand.
Grab the dry brush.
Start making this look like a pile of marshmallows.
Yeah. The joy of having everything nearby.
Right?
I literally
grab and go.
Since none of you can see it, I literally have a chair sitting here with the drawer that has the vast majority of my painting supplies just right here, because on a regular basis I think I have everything and then I don't. So just makes life easy. Okay. I guess I'm gonna pick you up to do the dry brushing.
Just building the layers up with the color.
I'm so glad that you went with my ridiculous idea.
I mean, why not? This is the fun of it. I like off-the-cuff stuff.
And it is very Orkira, because
Absolutely.
Why would she hoard anything?
Marshmallows, she though.
Yeah.
Marshmallows, though, yo.
Oh. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that's starting to get the kind of look. So the whole reason for starting with the leather brown first was to help give some definition to the pile, as opposed to if we went and did this all bone white, it'd be very flat looking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can't use a wash really to save that, because as soon as you put a wash on, it's going to turn everything like a beigey color or a gray tone. And if we want this to look more like marshmallows, I needed that color to be deeper inside already. So that's why I did that like that. Because this won't be getting a wash. Yeah.
I think my brown in a couple places is still a little wet, so
that's okay. You can build back up over it if you have some blending happening. Okay. Okay. We're starting to look like a marshmallow pile here.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're gonna want that dead white.
Okay.
And you're gonna do a lighter dry brushing over it. And this is where it should theoretically, hopefully, start looking more like marshmallows.
Yay.
And a lovely little pile. What'd you do today? I painted marshmallows.
Uh-huh.
For a miniature.
For work.
For work.
My job today included fake marshmallows.
Oh my god. It's looking like marshmallows.
Oh, that is still very wet. I'm going to have to give this a minute or two to dry. I mean, yeah, it's exactly what we wanted, right?
This just broke me.
But yeah, I gotta give mine an extra
a little bit of time to dry. Totally cool. This is like, in theory, it was gonna work, maybe, and just.
Bookish Oddish wants to know: do you think these are from the slightly stale marshmallow bag or another source? Oh, the bag.
Oh, please be from the bag. Please
Absolutely.
be from the bag.
This is one of those weird moments in where Orkira decided she needed to test out,
checking her supply.
I wonder if there's actually an end to the bag, or like a limit on how much. And so I could see her just sitting there for 10 minutes, pulling out marshmallows and throwing them into a pile, pulling out marshmallows. Because, I love my dragonborn cleric very much. She's not the brightest bulb.
So those are fun to play, though.
Yeah, like she's not, completely clueless about things, but
right.
Intelligence is not her strong suit. But yes, I could see her for a good 10 minutes just pulling. So it is not just a pile of marshmallows, it is a pile of stale marshmallows.
Wartech, no, I will not be doing, I just said this, I will not be doing a wash over the marshmallows because I don't want the tones of the pure whites of the marshmallow getting muted to a beige or gray. So that's why I started with a leather brown. Because that's acting as like how a wash would going into the recesses first. Oh my god, this is...
There we go. Now I'm getting the white.
I'm like, it's like, what's the reverse Rumpelstiltskin? Turn gold into marshmallows? Stinsel Rumkin?
Now that's a magic item.
Right?
Gold in, marshmallow out.
This looks like I am delighted that worked out.
Yeah, yours is looking great. I'm still working on the white here, but it's coming along.
Yeah, it's very gradual buildup, which helps.
Yeah. Yelzen, somewhere, a snack alchemist.
That's why I started
taking notes. Did you see that same one?
That's why I'm like, I can't.
Yep.
This half hour is breaking me.
Yep. I'm here for all of this.
Oh, Lord.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. Each time I'm adding another layer, I am lifting my brush up more feather light across the top because I'm really trying to keep it so it doesn't get too low into the recesses and we lose that shadowing that's happening.
Yeah, where I think I've just gone too fast. I'm going to just let that sit.
Yeah, and you can always just do another round with the dead white and bring in more of the brightness of the pure white.
Yeah.
To make this look like marshmallows.
Because I'm doing I'm getting the highlighting, and then every once in a while my brush goes over a section that is obviously still wet.
Oh, and then it pulls, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just all
fair.
Mixing together.
I'm going to stop here because this looks like a pile of marshmallows.
Yeah, yours looks great. Yours looks amazing.
But now, I'll do the mace. This is so not where I saw the day going, but I am completely 100% lovingly here for it.
Yep. See, now when I was actively playing Orkira a lot, like on a
There it is.
weekly basis, I had a bag of marshmallows in the kitchen that was earmarked literally as
Or
this is
curious.
the bag I go to for when I need to have a
Funny.
marshmallow on hand. I don't have that anymore. So now I feel bad because I want to be able to just pull one out and be like, hey, here you
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just gonna go in with some gunmetal
Oh, on the mace. Yeah.
on the mace. Yeah.
Orkira did used to have a mace. She's never used it and never pulled it out. But um the stock cleric equipment,
Mm-hmm.
um, for most of the clerics,
Usually has a
includes a
mace,
shield
right?
and a mace.
Yeah.
Yeah, mace is kind of the standard, but it never made any sense for her to pull it out. So,
There you go.
and that she doesn't have anymore because she's literally never used it. So I took that. Um,
Dead weight.
well, and until she got the handy haversack, it was one of those
Mm-hmm.
where like I've not played with a DM that has really gone into encumbrance, but for a
Right.
while she was carrying a lot.
Yeah, that
And
makes
so,
sense.
I'm like, well, she doesn't need the mace, but the shield, yeah.
Yeah, keep the shield. All right, I'm gonna let that dry.
Yalzin, I highly recommend an entire snack-based party. Listen, food is
You
funny.
got close to it with Desmond.
Yeah, yeah.
With his jerky and your marshmallows. God, that
That
was
is
funny.
still one of my favorite moments in a D&D game
That was
ever,
hysterical.
is Desmond turning to Orkira and offering her jerky. And then like, well, let me give you marshmallows. And the rest and then B-Dave asking for a check for some other reason from the
Uh-huh.
other three people. And the two of us going, I have a concern. And Aaron
Right?
standing there being like, are the marshmallows people? Is the jerky people? Why are we doing this check?
Oh, God, is the jerky people. God.
It was, it, it's kind of one of my favorite, like
It was
3
a great
minutes in a
moment.
D&D game. Is
It
just,
was such a gorgeously funny moment. Oh my goodness.
yeah. It was everything I wanted out of
Yeah.
playing with Desmond in that one of like, just, oh, it was so good.
Uh-huh.
And then later meeting up with Tatiana and being like, well, we exchanged snacks, so
Oh, and
we're friends.
Toddy's like, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, it's looking real good.
Here's your pile of marsh. They look like marshmallows.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere there's a blue dragon wyrmling who's like, you did what to my pile?
All right, so today we managed to put together Orkira, which I am super
Yay.
thrilled about. We're just going to let this cure and dry, and we'll get into painting this, doing some more detail work and having fun with the colors and everything. Yay! Which will be
Yay.
great. And while we're waiting for this to dry and cure, we had fun and we took the treasure hoard from the blue wyrmling miniature and in honor of Orkira, made it into marshmallows.
All marshmallows all the time.
Amazing. So yeah, we will be back next Friday. Heads up though, it will be pre-recorded. So have
But
fun.
I'll be hanging out in
yeah,
chat.
have fun hanging out with Laura in the chat. I'm the one who's going to be out of town for that one. And then we'll be back again the week after. Basically, it's going to be Orkira for the next couple weeks at least. So just keep that in mind. And then don't
Which makes
forget,
sense because green grass is in a couple
green
weeks.
grass is coming up soon. Exactly. Don't forget Monday.
Yay!
Tune in for the first episode of Series 3 of A Familiar Quest with Eugenio Vargas as DM and our fantastic players. We have Brian Gray coming back as Disco. We have Alicia Marie coming back as Misty. We have Kelly coming as Scotty. And we have Megan returning as Squiddle. So it should be a lot of fun. I know there's going to be antics and things and all that goodness happening. Keep an eye out for the casts. They'll be tweeting and talking about it over social media over the weekend as reminders, and have some fun with that. And the DLC for these new familiar forms will be launching on Monday. So keep an eye out for that in the in-game shop. And then on top of a familiar quest, don't forget when you log in, Season 3 has started up. You still have time to get in and get going with those wonderful things. So that is a happening as well. Along with Season 3, we have our weekend buff, which is just a dazzling thing to see. It's the dazzling weekend with the dazzling gold chests that you can claim. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, why not? Go for it. You'll get some lovely chest codes once a week to use in-game related to the weekend buffs. It's a good thing, and we promise we will not spam you. That is not our style. That is not our MO. So just keep that one in mind if you're wondering. And when you're also in the game, don't forget to check out the Red Wizard Emergence, which is going on until Wednesday. So there's lots of cool things happening, lots of fun stuff going on, things to collect, things to do, and pick and choose what you want to focus on and what you want to do and have fun with it. Really is the ultimate.
Yeah. And a lot of it is stuff that you can multitask. A lot of it is like you can be doing stuff for seasons and Red Wizards and the weekend. So don't feel too overwhelmed. There are ways that you can very easily do a lot of it at once.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us. This has been a lot of fun. If you've joined us with doing this kit bash, just remember safety first. As you're doing the putting together part, it'll be a little less worrisome later. Thank you also to Gabe for helping us with dig questions, because we got some awesome questions. Always great to hear from the chat. And Gabe, thank you for pulling them all together to make it easier, because sharp objects today made it a little bit harder to keep an eye on the chat.
And thank you, chat, for being our timer for when we needed it for the super glue.
Super duper helpful and very much appreciate you. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. We have
Formation save coming up.
I did it. Formation save. Good. Formation save is coming up next. Sit tight. You'll see them soon. And have a good weekend, everyone. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.